Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, Famous Quotes and Stories of World Celebrities. What I share with you today is the 5,550th famous saying. It's always like this. When there is one extreme, there is a representative of the other extreme to oppose it. This sentence comes from Leo Tolstoy, a Russian writer. Before the video starts, I hope you will subscribe and share this channel. Thanks. Things are always like this. If there is one extreme, there will be representatives of the other extreme to oppose it. This is a famous saying by the Russian writer Leo Tolstoy, which profoundly reveals the opposition and contradictions that exist in human society. This kind of opposition and contradiction is reflected in different eras, different cultures, and different fields. Below, I will quote a story to further illustrate this point. The story takes place in the United States at the beginning of the 20th century. At that time, American society was in a period of extreme prosperity. The processes of industrialization, urbanization, and modernization were accelerating, and people were enjoying unprecedented material wealth and scientific and technological achievements. However, behind this prosperity, there are also profound social problems and contradictions hidden. Among them, the most prominent one is the contradiction between capitalists and workers. During this period, capitalists possessed huge wealth and power, and they controlled the country's economic lifeline and political direction. In order to pursue greater profits, they do not hesitate to cut workers' wages and benefits, lengthen working hours, and even violate labor regulations, allowing workers to work in extremely harsh conditions. These actions aroused strong dissatisfaction and resistance among workers. They organized strikes, demonstrations, and marches to demand improved working conditions, higher wages, and protection of workers' rights. However, the capitalists were unwilling to give up their own interests and power, and they adopted various means to suppress workers' resistance. They colluded with government bureaucrats, formulated anti-labor laws and policies, and used the police and the army to violently suppress workers' strikes and demonstrations. Amid this extreme inequality and opposition, American society has fallen into profound turmoil and crisis. This story tells us that when one extreme appears, the other extreme will inevitably emerge. In the face of the greed and power of capitalists, workers have to stand up to safeguard their rights and dignity. This kind of opposition and contradiction is not a temporary phenomenon, but a universal law in human society. As Leo Tolstoy said, things are always like this. If there is one extreme, there will be representatives of the other extreme to oppose it. This is also the dialectics of history and the driving force for social progress and development. In this story, we also see that opposition and contradiction drive the progress and development of society. Workers' resistance and struggle forced some capitalists to reflect on their own behavior and gradually improve working conditions and wages. It also promoted the establishment and improvement of labor regulations and labor protection systems. These changes not only improve the living conditions of workers, but also bring more stable, fairer, and more sustainable development to the entire society. It is worth mentioning that this story also tells us that when resolving opposition and contradictions, violent suppression cannot be used. Although the capitalists once used the police and the army to suppress workers' resistance, this violent method not only failed to solve the problem, but intensified the contradictions and plunged the society into greater turmoil. The final way to solve the problem is to find a solution acceptable to both parties through dialogue and negotiation. Therefore, things are always like this. If there is one extreme, there will be representatives of the other extreme to oppose it. This sentence not only reveals the opposition and contradictions that exist in human society, but also reminds us that when facing contradictions and conflicts, we should seek opportunities for reconciliation between the two parties with a rational and tolerant attitude to achieve the goal of harmonious coexistence. Only in this way can we truly promote social progress and development and create a better, more just and more harmonious world. Okay, this time the video is shared with you. Everyone is welcome to subscribe, like, share and leave comments. Thank you all. See you later.